welcome to the first YouTube video of 2024. I've missed you guys. Let me know what you got up to over the Christmas, New Year holiday season. I'm gonna kick off with a Sézane video because I feel like I haven't talked about Sézane in ages. Their latest drop, the Winter Essentials collection, dropped on Sunday, and I've held out on making this video. I can't make fair judgments on whether I would recommend pieces or not if I can't see the fabric composition. So that's why I'm just doing this video now. I've had some time to look through the new in, gather my thoughts, and this video is going to be that. I do want to caveat first of all by saying my Sézane content is going to look a little different this year. I am on a low buy myself this year, and more about that will be coming to the channel soon. However, I want to be much more selective in what I recommend from Sézane going forward, and I want to try and make my videos more helpful to you in choosing the right items for your own wardrobe. And that means really kind of reviewing items much more in detail, and when I'm talking through lookbooks and new collections, really being quite critical about what I see and being much more selective on what I recommend. As someone who has tried over 100 different items from Sézane now, I have a pretty good idea of what's good and what's not, what fabrics to look out for, what cuts to look out for, and what to avoid from the website completely. Okay, so jumping in with one item that really stood out to me as being a great purchase from the new collection is this jumper. I actually feel like overall this collection is really strong on the knitwear front, and that's probably the bulk of what I really like from this collection, whereas there are definitely some misses in some other categories. But I've generally found that in this drop, they've released a lot of natural fibre knitwear, which I love to see, and this jumper is no exception. This is very much what I would consider an elevated basic. So it's a basic, a wardrobe essential, a striped jumper with a very slight twist, and that would be the gold buttons on the shoulder. Really love that detail. Makes it feel even more French, and I love that usually these buttons anyway are real buttons. They're not just design elements. So you can open them, and that actually gives you the ability to expose the shoulder slightly, which I really love the look of. Makes the jumper able to be worn in a couple of different ways, which is quite rare for a real kind of basic piece like this. Love the fabric, 100% organic cotton. I've seen that lots of their cotton pieces now are organic cotton, which I really appreciate. And I just think this looks really nicely made, and for £115 is a fair price. Love the shade of ecru they've used as the base as well. I think it's really stunning, nicer than a true white. And yeah, I'm really impressed with this one. This was one, if I didn't have the Leontine, I would definitely be adding this to my basket. But I don't necessarily feel like if you have the Leontine, you necessarily need the daisy, unless you are a big stripes lover. I know a lot of people love stripes, wear stripes all the time. In that case, I feel like this could be a really nice addition if you do have the Leontine already. They are both cotton, which is why I'm comparing it to that. Whereas if you have the striped Betty, I feel like there is definitely still a place for a striped cotton jumper. In my opinion, a wool jumper and a cotton jumper serve two completely different purposes. And a cotton jumper is actually, in my opinion, a lot more versatile, especially when you're thinking about transitioning your wardrobe to spring if you're currently in winter. Cotton is so nice in spring. It's really nice as a light layer in summer, in the evenings as well. I know that's one of the times I actually wear my Leontine the most, is on chilly summer evenings, perhaps when I'm staying outside until kind of late into the evening. Staying on the theme of striped jumpers, the other one that really caught my attention was the Baptiste jumper. Now this one is quite similar. I mean, it's slightly different. It's a navy base with ecru stripes. It is a cardigan style, so it has buttons all down at the middle. They are the gold buttons, similar to the daisy on the shoulder. Now this one is one of those like unicorn Sézane items that I've noticed that is actually made in France. Most of their knitwear is not. Most of their knitwear is either made in like Eastern Europe. Romania is quite a popular choice for Sézane. Some of it's made in Italy and a lot of it's made in China. This Baptiste jumper is made in France though, so if origin is important to you, now for some people it is, for some people it's not. I'm not going to get into it right now about the differences between kind of the quality of clothes made in China versus made in Europe. I think it's a very nuanced topic and not one that I'm personally an expert in, but I do know that this is a rare kind of find on Sézane. So if it is important to you, then it's there. It is a higher price point because of this. It's £170. If you compare it to the Daisy jumper, which is £115, they're obviously very similar in terms of like style and fabric. This one's also 100% organic cotton. So you can see the differences. The Daisy jumper is made in Romania and the Baptiste is made in France. It's stunning though. Again, I think the cut is perfection. I love that it is slightly more fitted, but it's not skin tight. I love the gold button detail. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I love the organic cotton choice. So yeah, I think it's a really gorgeous wardrobe staple. Again, if you really like stripes, you like your wardrobe classics, or perhaps you're reinvesting in your wardrobe, you're starting from scratch and you are wanting those basics, then I would really recommend this one. I feel like it's a really special piece, one you're going to have in your wardrobe for a long time. The next piece of knitwear is the August jacket. This stood out to me as being beautiful. It comes in 2 shades, a butter yellow, like beigey colour, and then a navy. So the butter yellow has some contrast detailing on it in the white, and then the navy is just fully navy. It's definitely giving me Betty vibes, but a little bit more intricate, especially the navy one that has some crochet detailing. Obviously the navy Betty also has crochet detailing. I guess it's just a matter of preference. The pocket placement is slightly different compared with the Betty, which has the pockets at the top. This has the pockets at the bottom. It's a blend, so that in that way it is different to the Betty. It's 50% organic cotton again, and then 50% merino wool. One of my favorite compositions. Love the feel of an organic cotton merino wool blend. I think it's so comfortable. It's that nice mix between breathable and warm. It's not going to be scratchy or irritating on any skin. I think these are really soft, really easy to wear. And obviously the color choice is nice, having the choice between 2 very different colors. If you're into your beiges, you're into your neutrals, you're into your warm tones, then you might want to go for the butter shade. It's quite unique. It definitely follows that trend of these like old money kind of lady jackets that we've been seeing a lot of recently, but it is one of the higher quality options that I've seen. You can find jackets like this a lot of different places. I feel like Massimo Dutti would have like a similar price point and a similar style, and personally I think Sézane's quality always trumps Massimo Dutti, who often do use a lot of synthetics in their composition. The final piece of knitwear that I want to talk about in terms of a recommendation is the Andy cardigan. If you are looking for a cable knit jumper or cardigan this season, then this one looks really nice. Can't really go wrong with it, but again, I love that they've chosen the organic cotton as opposed to regular, and I just think it's going to be quite easy to maintain as well. That's another thing I found about my cotton knits when I compare them to my merino wool and wool knits. I find that cotton is quite a bit more forgiving. Yes, it can shrink, but I just find that it holds its shape better after washing than merino wool does. I've actually kind of struggled a little bit to hand wash my Bettys for this reason. I have hand washed most of my Bettys now, and they're 100% merino wool, and I find that you have to be very careful in reshaping them when they're wet in order for them to dry right. My ecru one I actually wasn't so careful with. I hand washed it in cold water and then I kind of just let it dry flat, but maybe not necessarily reshapen. And I find that it's just not exactly the same as it once was. It feels like it just doesn't sit as nicely. It's hard to explain what the problem actually is. Whereas with my Leontine, I've hand washed that multiple times, and I've even actually machine washed it, and it's come out completely fine. So I do think if you're hesitant to buy from Sézane for the reason of aftercare with like looking after these things, then cotton is much easier than wool generally. In terms of knitwear that I don't recommend from Sézane, there's nothing that really stands out. They don't really do any knitwear that is 100% synthetic, which would be the only thing that I'd be completely against. Let me know if there is anything, but I don't think there's anything on there that is 100% polyester. But they do obviously a lot of blended knits, and I sit on the fence with these. I don't love them, I don't hate them, I own a couple of them, but I definitely prefer my natural fibre knits like the Leontine, like the Betty, like all of those ones that I've just mentioned. So yeah, I'm not gonna overtly recommend them, but I'm not gonna say I'm against them either. It does kind of depend on what you're looking for, and obviously you do get a different texture with these mohair blended knits as opposed to something that is more flat like a merino wool or more kind of ribbed like a cotton. One thing that confused me a little bit about this collection is there's a surprising amount of sequins and metallics for a January kind of pre-spring winter collection. So there's the Tobiro blouse, which has metallic fibers in it. That looks itchy to me. I've actually heard of quite a few people try things like this from Sézane that have those metallic threads running through it, and they've always said that it is quite irritating on the skin as there's not usually a lining underneath. So that's something I wouldn't recommend. There's also a lot of sequins, these two sequin items. Okay, maybe if you're looking for sequins this time of year, but someone who has a January birthday, so of all people might be looking for sequins in January, I would just not recommend these. Sequins are always things that I'm very hesitant to recommend and to buy. They're plastic. They are just kind of unnecessary most of the time. We're only really going to wear them once a year, so you don't really need multiple sequin pieces. And I just think, why did a rose gold sequin skirt have to be made and brought out in January? It feels like a waste of material, a waste of plastic to me. Maybe it just wasn't ready in time for the Christmas collection, who knows? Either way, I'm not a fan. They also have some of these like coated metallic looking items. They've got this parka, which again stands out to me as an item that, did it really need to be made? Did it really need to be produced? How many people are actually going to buy this? I feel like the answer is very few. I feel like it's a really niche market, people who are looking or wanting a metallic parka coat. Maybe you're out there, let me know if you've bought this. There's also a top, which confused me greatly because again, it's that kind of coated metallic look. And it's a top, which I think first of all is awkward because I just feel like I can imagine it being really noisy when you move about. I can imagine it not tucking into jeans very seamlessly, even though they've done it in this picture. But also when you go onto the composition page, it just says 100% organic cotton. And that confuses me greatly because this thing has to be coated in plastic to look like this, right? This cannot be just 100% cotton. So why they haven't declared that on the composition page is very confusing to me. I've actually just had another look and it says main fabric is organic cotton. So I presume they mean it's organic cotton and then it's coated in something to make it shiny like this. It says it's a lame effect, which I've actually never heard of. Okay, so I've just asked AI what a lame effect is because it's something I've never heard of. And it says, the lame effect in clothing refers to the shiny metallic appearance created by using metallic threads or fibres woven or knitted into the fabric. It says traditionally it was used with real metal threads like gold, silver or copper. Nowadays it's mostly used with synthetic metallic coating called mylar. So basically this top is organic cotton with a metal mylar synthetic fabric woven into it. Why they haven't disclosed that on the composition page is questionable to me. I think that should be clear. I guess they have said it is a lame effect, but they haven't described what with. Not a fan of it either way. I do not think this is a good buy. An item I do really like is the Navy dress. This is a denim midi dress with a tie waist. It's 98% organic cotton, so that's the denim, and then 2% elastane. Now I do like the elastane in this because I do find that denim dresses, especially kind of quite rigid, thick denim like this is, it's not a chambray, it's not lightweight, it's a proper thick denim, need a little bit of stretch, especially in dress form, to accommodate curves, to fit your body nicely. I think this looks really beautiful. It's a very classic piece. You can't go wrong. In my opinion, Sézane does denim dresses really well generally. All of the ones I've tried have fit really beautifully. I have about 2 or 3 in my collection now, mostly mini dresses, but this midi option is beautiful for winter. I think this would look gorgeous with a thick wool coat thrown over it and some boots like she's wearing in the imagery. I really do love it. I love that saturated blue denim colour at the moment particularly. I think it looks really rich, really luxurious. I like that the cuffs on the sleeves come in quite snugly and you do have that option of tying it at the waist and creating a little bit more of a shape from an otherwise quite rigid material. It does also say in the description that the belt is removable, which I appreciate as well, because if you wanted to change it up for a different belt, a leather belt, a suede belt, you could easily do that, and again you get a little bit more versatility in how you can wear the dress. Again, looking through the dresses, I'm seeing more sequins. This Gabin dress, which is purple sequins, I mean it's stunning to look at, but where are you wearing this? Obviously 100% polyester, so that is a skip for me. Something I was pleased to see is this new pattern they've brought out. This is called the Monday pattern or fabric for some reason. Beautiful, very spring-like floral pattern. Sézane does this all the time, especially especially as we approach spring. They're a little bit early with this, but you know, I can appreciate looking ahead to the next season and get excited about what I'm going to wear in the warmer weather. This Rosella dress is gorgeous and it's 100% silk, which I absolutely love to see. It's £170, which is actually usually what they charge for their viscose fabrics in these kind of dresses. So I really appreciate that they've made this in silk. It's something that they used to do a lot. The majority of the time, their items like this would be silk. If we think back to a few years ago when they were much more minimal with their collections, where they were much more focused, in my opinion, on quality over quantity and had that slow fashion mindset. Nowadays, I feel like that is pretty much all but gone, and I'm really sad about that. But items like this do remind me of good old Sézane, and yeah, I do really think this is a great buy. It's beautiful. It looks like it fits really lovely. It has that little bit of stretch on the back as well, which I don't love the look of, but actually it's really practical for fitting various different body types and things like that. So I always talk so much in these videos, I'm feeling quite exhausted, but I'm going to move on to trousers now. The Damon trousers are now back in stock in the navy blue. These were out of stock for a long time. They've brought them back. Those are potentially on my wish list because I do love my ecru Damon trousers, but I would love them in navy as well. All of the new trouser styles that they've released in this collection I'm not in love with. If I start with the Greg trousers, so these are high-waisted, straight wide leg. They are kind of similar in some ways to the Lulus, but these are 100% synthetic basically. They're 74% acetate and 26% viscose. Not impressed with that composition at all, especially for £135. You can get better elsewhere, you can get better on the Sézane website. I don't think 74% acetate is something that I'm going to be buying in a trouser. I also think these don't look that flattering on the model. If you disagree with me, then let me know, but I feel like they're even pulling on her hips. If you see like the seam or the pleat, I'm not sure what it's called, down at the middle and the edges of the trousers, it just feels like they're almost pulling at the hips. They're obviously fitted at the waist and they fit fine everywhere else, but I feel like they're not cut wide enough in the hips, even for her, and she does not have wide hips. So for any kind of average woman, these are going to look even worse. I feel like if something doesn't look perfect on the model on the website, then that's a red flag, because that's the best it's ever going to look. It's been photographed to perfection and it still looks kind of off. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend those. The other trouser release that I've seen that actually came out today rather than on Sunday are the Candide trousers, 50% polyamide, and they're see-through. So the less said about those, the better, I think. One thing I was really excited to see is them finally releasing the suede version of the Will jacket in 2 additional colours. So if you don't know, they've had the camel suede Will jacket for years and years, and it's been the only suede version of that jacket that's been available. However, they now have released it in 2 new colours, really beautiful khaki green colour, which I love, and then this interesting kind of mustardy yellow buttery colour, which is less my cup of tea, but I can appreciate that's just personal preference. Now, I don't own the suede Will jacket, but I do often recommend it to people, especially people if you're taller or more kind of straight up and down, you have perhaps a more slim, like athletic figure. I think the Will jacket can look really great on you. I don't think it's as good on petite people, and I have an alternative for a suede jacket for petites or like average height curvier women in general in a second. But yeah, if you're on the taller side, I think the long line style of the Will jacket is beautiful, and I actually think that £225, which is what this retails for, is a really fair price for a 100% leather suede jacket. If you are on the more petite or curvy side, the alternative for you I think would be the Fiona jacket. This is new as well. This is on my wish list. I definitely don't need it because I have the pink suede Nelson jacket that I bought a few months ago, but I really love this camel Fiona jacket. Again, 100% suede, but it's a lot more, it's more of a feminine cut. It has more of a rounded shape. It's more cropped than the Will jacket, and it definitely just looks like the kind of feminine alternative to the suede Will jacket. I think it's beautiful. I love suede. I love suede jackets. I think they really add some pizzazz to an otherwise quite simple outfit or a simple wardrobe. I think they're one of those pieces that can be that core kind of statement piece that you pull out again and again and almost becomes a part of your personal style if you like suede. This is obviously a more neutral version than my pink Nelson jacket, but I love it as well. I love that the suede is even covering the buttons. It's just completely suede. It kind of gives me Betty vibes, but in suede jacket form, which I love. Now, it is almost twice the price of the suede Will jacket, which I don't really get. I think it is lined, whereas I don't think the suede Will jacket is lined, but I still don't really understand the the huge price discrepancy between the suede Will and the other suede jackets like the Nelson and the Fiona. A couple of other jackets and coats I saw that I loved. This vest, the Carlo vest, absolutely beautiful. This came out in like an ochre colour last year. Gorgeous. I love this blue gingham version even more. I think one of these is a really nice option. If you live in quite a warm climate and you miss out on that winter layering, you don't get to wear big coats all the time, then this could be a nice option because you still get that feeling of adding like an extra layer, an extra dimension to your outfit. It gives you a little bit of warmth, but nothing compared to a proper thick coat. And also you get to show off the top you have underneath as well. And I love that. I love the ability to have an extra layer, particularly maybe when it comes to spring, have that extra bit of warmth that I might need, but still get to show off the beautiful lace blouse I might have on underneath. The final coat that I really love is the Mederick in the powder pink. I love the Mederick coat. I think it's such a good buy from Sézane if you're looking for a winter coat. I think it's definitely comparable to higher end options. It's 100% double-faced wool. It's really soft. I would say it fits pretty true to size. I love the small additional details it has compared to other wool coats, like the buttons and the cuffs on the sleeves, the button detail on the belt. I love that Sézane chooses to bring out the Mederick coat in more unusual shades. Almost every other company will just bring out their classic winter coat in navy, black and camel, and that's pretty much it. Whereas Sézane have really chosen to push the boundaries a little bit with colour and actually, you know, spice up an item that is almost always neutral, almost always black or navy, and add some really interesting colours. And I really feel like they can make or break an outfit. The garden green one I think is stunning. I saw this picture of a French influencer, like model on Instagram recently in the green Mederick coat with some pink accessories, and it just really stood out to me as being absolutely beautiful. And I've kind of remembered it and been thinking about it for weeks, and that just wouldn't have happened if she was wearing a navy or a camel version. I would have just scrolled on by. I also love the bright purple version that they do, and then this new powder pink version. Really, really beautiful colours. Finally, I want to talk about shoes and accessories. Shoes wise, they finally brought out a pair of closed heel Mary Janes with the double strap. So obviously the Paula babies have definitely taken the world by storm, and they come in so many colours now that I've lost count. I think a lilac pair came out today as I was filming this. I didn't even think it was possible for them to add another colour, and then they had like a cornflower blue pair that came out on Sunday. They're all really beautiful, and I do recommend the Paula babies, but I like the idea of having a closed heel version. I won't be buying these because I have a pair very similar from Reformation already, but if you were looking for a pair that are more wearable for the winter time but otherwise are very similar to the style of the Paula baby, then I think these are a great option. And I think these, unlike the Paula babies, are very easy to style whatever the season. You could easily still wear these in summer just as people wear the Paula babies, but they are more appropriate for winter, especially if you're wearing like trousers or even if you're wearing tights. I feel like sometimes tights look a little bit awkward with an open heel. I still do it, but I really like the option of having that closed heel as well. Currently they come in the nude colour, which I think has been the most popular, and a black, but I wouldn't be surprised if they bring these out as well in lots more other colours. I'm gonna leave the discussion of Sézane bags specifically for next time because I'm currently working on a Sézane video reviewing 10 different bags from Sézane. That will be coming very soon. So if you wanted to hear my thoughts about some new bag releases, then I will leave it for that video. Overall, I really love this collection. I think there are some really great pieces hidden amongst the more fast fashion, trend-led items that they continue to bring out. And if you really know what you're looking for and you really think about your purchases before you make them, you can still find some real gems on Sézane, despite their business model definitely changing from that slow fashion origin that they came from to this more fast-paced trend-led business. If you did enjoy this video, I'd really appreciate you giving it a thumbs up. It really does help my channel out more than you know. We'll also leave my Instagram linked down below if you would like to follow me there, because I'm going to be talking a lot more about my low buy, about what I do and don't buy on Instagram, as well as doing my usual styling photos and reels. So I would love for you to join me over there. I'm really close to 2,000 followers on Instagram as well, so I'm really excited to hit that milestone. So any support would be really appreciated. Otherwise, I hope you're doing well. Let me know what you think of the new collection down in the comments below. Are you getting a little bit tired of this fast-paced Sézane that we're seeing of the last kind of 1 to 2 years? It doesn't seem like it's slowing down anytime soon. Otherwise, I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye!